It just feels so weird to be in front of the camera. Okay, I'm gonna get in my zone. I should have smoked first. My name is Keke Lowery-Jones, and I am a wife, mother, film writer, film director, CEO of a nonprofit, and just I just dip and dab in a little bit of everything. The purpose of this documentary is to, I guess, own up to my stuff, to my ish, to the stuff that's inside, the things that makes me me, and just so other black people especially can, you know, own up to who they are and deal with their ish. And by that, I mean mental illnesses, depression, just all of the things that we deal with as young adults into adulthood. With me, it's Bipolar 1. So my name is Keke Lowery-Jones, and I am Bipolar 1. Bipolar 1, for me, the definition would be 0 to 100 real quick. That's no balance, no median. You literally go from a low, down low, to all the way up high. And scientifically speaking or professionally speaking, it is manic depressive. That is what bipolar is, manic depressive. And manic is mania. The episodes are up high. You're feeling great. It's like euphoria. You just feel like you're on top of the world. A little cocky sometimes, a little overly confident, like you can do anything. And then your lows are the depressive states, which are depression. You're sad. You feel worthless. You question, your purpose. You just feel like you really don't have a meaning on this earth. I've had thoughts of suicide. I've never thought that I could actually do it, or I've never made a plan to commit suicide. I think my suicidal thoughts were more so I would feel in those depressive episodes that I would be better off not on earth, so dead. I've never, thought like, oh, how would I kill myself, or I should kill myself. But I have thought like, maybe my family is better off without me, or, would anybody miss me? Or if I was dead, I wouldn't have to feel like this. Because a depressive episode, being in depression, it's tough. It's tough. You literally just feel worthless. And I think what's the worst part about it is not necessarily being depressed and down, but just the fact that no matter who tries to spread positivity into your life or who tells you you matter, your mind is telling you you don't. So you're actually believing it. So for me, that's the toughest thing, is no matter what I've accomplished, no matter what I can do in those moments, nothing can change my mind about how I feel about me. Well, until I started fighting. Every now and then I can get into what's called a mixed state, which is when your manic and your depressive symptoms combine. And it can be you're up high 1 hour, and then the next hour you just feel like, why am I here? What is my purpose? Studies show that there can be a heightened level of creativity, and I absolutely think it's true personally, because that's when I actually get work done. When I'm in a manic episode, they can last anywhere from days to weeks. Max, I'm getting 4-5 hours of sleep, if that. There's been plenty of times I've only gotten like 3 hours of sleep per night, and I'm just up. I can write, I can come up with ideas. I'm talking about for all different areas of our business, not just film. I can help other people with their projects. That's when I kind of get myself into dealing with other people's projects and other people's goals. I'm able to help a little bit of everybody and not feel like I'm taking for myself. I've written entire episodes, entire movies. In a manic episode, it's just like a light bulb. It's just kind of like, oh my God, you just feel like you can conquer the world in a manic episode. Some of the stigmas and lies, I would have to say, one of the most common stereotypes that I hear is that you're crazy. And granted, I probably can be a little crazy, but it's not because of my bipolar. Being bipolar doesn't make you crazy. Being bipolar just means that your brain operates differently. The chemicals in your brain are different. It's not something that you can necessarily control until you are aware of it. So it's not something that should be just thrown out lightly. I think that when a lot of people even say the word bipolar, it's not in a serious manner. So I think that one of the biggest stigmas is that we don't actually know what bipolar is, and that we toss the word around as though it's a playful meaning. They're referring to something when it's hot and cold, or they are referring to something crazy. It's their bipolar. And it doesn't necessarily bother me for the greater part, but sometimes I'm just like, I wish they wouldn't necessarily use that word bipolar, because it's a real mental illness, and if more people were educated on it, then they wouldn't look at a person and say they're crazy or they're bipolar, but they would actually try to understand what bipolar is and try to understand what that means for that person going through bipolar. And educating yourself is the best thing that you can do. My support system is amazing. I don't have just like a huge support system in anything that I do, but the people that support me, it's not about the quantity of people, but the quality. Of course, my husband, first and foremost, is very accepting of my diagnosis of being bipolar 1. And with that, he just educated himself on what that means. And way before I was even diagnosed with bipolar 1, we kind of figured that that was what it was. But once we found out, like I said, he educated himself on it. We talk openly about it. I'm able to express my emotions, whether they're highs or lows now. I'm able to, talk to him about those depressive moments and just keep it real about how I feel. My mom and my dad, both my parents, know that I am bipolar 1. It was a brief conversation. They both let me know that they supported me in everything that I do, and no matter what, they'll of course love me. They don't look at me any differently. And it was one conversation that we had, and we haven't talked about it since. I want to say the other person that matters to me the most is my best friend, and she took it seemingly well as well, and I didn't expect anything less. Okay, so medication and bipolar. Let me choose my words carefully, because there are some people who do have mental illnesses that need to be medicated, or they do need those mood stabilizers because they aren't able to control them the way that I do. For me personally, before I tell you my answer, for me personally, I became aware of my symptoms of bipolar a few years ago, and so becoming aware was the number one medication for me, because becoming aware of my different mood changes and the state that I was in, I was able to control my mind with practice. Just like we do anything in this world, everything that we do has to be on purpose. So for me, with meditation, with prayer, with just knowing who I am, I feel like that meditation is my medicine. Therapy, there's nothing like therapy. Therapy is amazing. You're able to just express your raw emotions to this stranger, and before you know it, they don't even feel like a stranger. They feel like somebody, like your support system. Your therapist becomes your support system. As far as medication, I don't take any medication. My therapist is okay with me not taking medication, simply because I'm aware of my condition, my mental illness, and me being aware, I'm able to control myself. Even in the moments where I'm not feeling like I'm in control, I can shift my mind to more positive thoughts. But my medication is cannabis. I believe in all things cannabis. I'm not saying that you should just go smoke weed all day long and not get anything done. As y'all can see, I have multiple businesses. I'm always doing something productive, so I'm not just getting high. But I do believe in cannabis. So that is my medication. That's the method that I decided, that's the route that I decided to take. And that's something that I don't necessarily want to compromise on ever. I have taken medication in the past. I have taken antidepressants before. And it was horrible. I mean, you just feel like a zombie. You don't feel like yourself. You just want to sleep. You don't do anything. Of course, they tell you to take antidepressants if you're depressed because you just sleep. I mean, you know, it doesn't solve anything. It doesn't cure anything. Bipolar is an incurable mental illness. So for something that's incurable, I don't feel like I should take a medication that can't cure what I have. So instead, I just smoke weed, cannabis, reefer, whatever you want to call it. I smoke it. Sometimes I smoke the cannabis that has the THC extracted, so it does not give you a high, but it just kind of makes you feel more calm. And if you have any type of pain or whatever, it doesn't matter what you're going through. If you smoke weed, it makes it better. The purpose of me wanting to do this documentary is simply because we as Black people look at mental illness as a bad thing. And I like to think that it contributes to my creativity. It helps me be, like, I'm unique. You know what I mean? Not everybody can say they're bipolar. I like to look at it from a positive light. I think that we have to start speaking out, speaking up. I mean, there's so many people who suffer in silence. For years, I did. For years, I was crying in my own closet because I didn't even want my husband, my family to know that I was going through these depressive episodes. For years, I was doing just whatever I needed to do in order to keep how I was feeling hidden, because I didn't want people to label me as bipolar. I didn't want people to look at me and think, is she a good mother? Can she be a good mother? Can she be a good wife? Business owner? How can she run a business and she's bipolar? I honestly was so scared to even tell people because I didn't want to lose business or for people not to want to work with me because of bipolar. However, I had to say, you know what? This is bigger than me. It's so many people who suffer in silence, and it's not a good feeling. We need to speak up. We need to talk about the things that are affecting our community, the things that affect Black people. And mental illness is one. We don't believe in therapy. A lot of us don't believe in therapy. A lot of us think that it's crazy to pay someone to go sit on their couch and talk to. But we rather medicate ourselves. We rather drink. We rather get high. I mean, I like to smoke cannabis too. However, we have to deal with our ish. Like, you can't just smoke and internalize it. You have to smoke and release it. You can't just get drunk all the time because then you become an alcoholic. Like, all of these things that we use as coping mechanisms, these bad things, all they're doing is continuing this horrible path, these generational curses. In my family personally, I'm trying to break the generational curses. So if I have to be the first person to go to therapy or the first person to say, hey, I'm bipolar and I don't care, that's what I'm going to do. Because I don't want my children and their children to grow up to think that it's not okay to seek help, that it's okay for them to go through all of these horrible things in life and they're supposed to just be this strong Black woman. No, I'm not okay. So we need to deal with it. That's why I want to do it, because we have to break generational curses. And for so long, I talk, I motivate people, I give people advice. People come to me all the time wanting advice. And who am I to tell anybody what to do if I'm not following my own advice, if I'm not walking what I'm talking? So for me, this is me being 100% transparent, because I'm always telling people how they should be transparent, because I do believe that the things that we go through are not just for us, but for other people. So I'm not just going through this for me. I'm going through this for someone else so that they can get the courage, the strength to say, I need help. I need help. To the person who's suffering this battle silently by themselves, release it. I promise you would feel so much better. Those moments where you feel like you're nothing, or you feel like, what is wrong with me? Because one minute I am so happy, like I feel like I'm on top of the world, and the next minute I maybe want to kill myself, or I just feel like I want to die. Release it. Talk to somebody. If you can't afford a therapist, um, find somebody that you can confide in to talk to. Find a way to deal with it. My number one recommendation is therapy, because it works. I don't recommend anybody holding this in. To the person that is silently struggling, you deserve better. You deserve to live a life and know that you mean something. You deserve to be mentally healthy, physically healthy, and just healthy all around. But you deserve more than what you're giving yourself at the moment. You don't deserve to just brush it off, sleep it off for weeks at a time. You don't deserve to lose out on the people that you love, your friends, your job, just because of a label. Don't be afraid of what people will think of you, because anybody that is supposed to be in your life will embrace you, accept you, and they will honestly do whatever they can to help you through the process of knowing not only who you are, but who you are and what bipolar is to you. Bipolar is something different in everybody. At first, I was so scared because I thought that it was just this series of bad things. I was thinking that, dang, because they tell you, your manic episodes, you can go reckless spending, reckless sexual experiences, just recklessness, like your brain is going 1,000 miles per hour. And granted, that is, and sometimes, it's not all great, because even my manic episodes, they haven't been all great. However, you can get to the point where you become aware of who you are, the type of person that you are, the things that you do, and all you have to do is shift those highs and those lows to a better place. For me, I like to write, I film, I'm a photographer, I'm a little bit of everything. So when I get into my manic episodes, I bake, I write, I hit up everybody like, what y'all working on? Y'all need help? Help people. Whatever your goals are in those manic episodes, go crazy. I just write down all of my goals, all of my ideas, all of my thoughts. Some of them be like, I cross them off the list, like, nah, I'm not gonna do any of that. Some of it, I'm like, oh, okay. Just use it for your good. Yeah.
Exactly.
I low key just wish I felt like I did. I don't know. I don't know.
You wish you was in the mindset, but you got to think about it. You done worked out and you're talking about it now. So you experienced it, and now you feel comfortable in your depressive episode that you're in right now.
Mm-hmm.
But on the outside looking in right now,
Hmm.
you can tell you're doing exactly what your mind said you wanted to do already. Like you're accomplishing. So when somebody views this interview, they're gonna see how genuine you are. They're going to be touched by this. They're going to say, okay, yeah, I understand. I feel this way too. Um, but you're just not confident um, in what you're doing right now. But you are making your statement. You're making your point come across. It is effective.
Okay. Never thought about it like that.
So, and while you're in this state, I'm glad we're capturing it on film right now. But while you're in this state, um, you'll you won't ever feel like, oh yeah, like this is on point.
Right.
This is what I'm supposed to be doing, or whatever the case.
That's true. That's true.
This is good stuff. This is good information.
My name is Keke Lowery-Jones, and I am a wife, a mother, a film writer, film director, a CEO of a nonprofit organization, and a little bit of everything else in between. And I am Bipolar 1.